Hello, I'm Beth the Builder, and I've got news for you. You can do whatever you want in your house, okay? So there's this idea I feel strongly about, that you're allowed to do what you want in your home, okay? If you want to like smoke cigarettes at 2 o'clock in the morning in your home, you can do that. If you want to like paint your floors purple and your ceilings lime green, you can do that, okay? So there's no one that's gonna come along and be like, you can't do that. Well, there probably will be, but you should be like, please leave. You don't live here. Why are you in my house? What are you doing here? How'd you get here? Like, you can do whatever you want. And I feel strongly about this because I hate it when people are like, you should just paint that thing a neutral color. Cause like when you sell your house, that's like what will sell. Kita, don't interrupt me. Dang it. Lay down. What are you doing? Just being a menace. Okay, so yeah, there's this idea that's like, well, you should just like stick with white or neutral colors or boring things because someday you'll want to sell your house. Yeah, someday everyone's gonna want to sell their house, okay? That's not a good enough reason to not live in your home, okay? Like, that's not a good reason to not do things in your home that you want to do. Be that like retile that floor every other month, or paint your ceilings teal with hearts all over it, or all your cabinets are fucking hot pink. You want to live in a Barbie house? You make that dream happen. I feel like people end up like not really making their homes their own. Like they're not comfortable for them, or they're like really generic. Like you could open a home magazine and be like, I live here. And most of them are like not really that interesting and kind of boring. And it doesn't really feel like those people are like living in that space. It feels like they're kind of just like existing. And I don't like that. I've seen like various design things that I'm like, I love this because it feels like this person like loves their home and they put their personality and who they are into their home. So, you know, your dad was super into deer heads and camo, and he should put that all over his house. And your grandma is like, I like porcelain teacups and lace. And it's like, heck yeah, grandma, get it. So that brings me to what we're talking about right now. So this has bothered me for a long time. This is a little tiny 1.5-inch step from my porch into our kitchen. And I'm not gonna do anything like super crazy with it, so like maybe this isn't the best example for this, but I repainted it white and it's always dirty looking and I hate it. It's just a traffic area. I didn't tile it because there was a transition here, and then there's a little, I don't know what to do with it exactly. Maybe I should have just tiled over it, but there is a little bit of a bump. I don't know. I think the transition is fine. And then I added new trim on the porch side here that you could see in my porch trim video that I did. So that's when I painted this white, and I was like, well, that's fine. I think that's when I did it. But it's always dirty. It always looks gross, and I'm just over it. It is wood, so I could sand it down and stain it the same as this, but I'm not gonna do that because I don't really feel like it. So, and then I'm thinking this archway here, I'm gonna paint it like a super fun color, okay? I don't know what yet. Maybe I'm just gonna go with like blue, or I don't know, something that would go with yellow, I guess. I'm not sure. I'm gonna look up some like color matching stuff of like, or color combo stuff that would be really fun, because that does apply for this. Why the fuck not? Why go with the boringest options possible? And maybe my gray tile is a little boring, but that stuff in the hallway is fucking fun and I liked it. And the yellow, our kitchen is yellow because I like yellow and it's fun and it feels bright and cheery. And would somebody else come in here and be like, that's too yellow, I don't like it? Yeah, probably, but I don't give a fuck. Because you know how cheap paint is? It's so cheap. So design people who have problems with the colors of things or the patterns you'd pick or whatever in your home, like get the fuck out of here. This isn't for you, okay? This is for normal people, and I want to encourage normal, average people to make their homes whatever the fuck they want. And don't let people cow you into not painting that room purple, okay? When I was growing up, I wanted to paint my room blue and purple and red, and my mom wouldn't let me. So, and none of those colors really go together, so like maybe I get it, but like why couldn't I do that? I should be allowed to. Just saying. And maybe it's like not a typical thing for people to paint floors or anything like that, but I feel like this is a very specific case where I'm gonna go for it. And maybe I'll seal it afterwards as well, which I think will also help keep it cleaner. So, that's what we're doing. So fight me about it, okay? Alrighty, so I'm all done with my step here, and even though it's not like the biggest, most dramatic change, I would say it's a huge improvement because darker things are always going to look cleaner. They're going to not show fingerprints, footprints, dirt, cobwebs, etc. They're not going to show any of that stuff nearly as quickly. So yeah, this just has 3 coats of just gloss black paint on it. It's not fancy paint. And then I just put 1 coat water-based polyurethane. So I would generally say that oil-based is almost always the way to go with sealant, but I just happen to have that, so it doesn't impress me, by the way. I don't think it's the way to go, because nothing that says it's 1 coat is ever 1 coat. Like paint that says like 1 coat is lying, okay? They're just trying to sell you more expensive paint. It's bullshit. So this isn't generally how I'd want to do this. I would want to go with a water or an oil-based polyurethane, but that's what I had and it'll be fine. I might buff it down and do another coat just to really make sure it's sealed, but it's not necessary. Generally 2 or 3 coats is the way to go, so I might still do that. And when you're doing sealant type stuff, make sure you always use like a new brush, because I used an old brush that I just had used for other things, and I had used it with white paint, and it left some little particulates on my black when I sealed it. So not super happy about that, but just a word of the wise, make sure you use at least a very clean brush. I cleaned the shit out of this brush, so I thought it was fine, but whatever. So usually it's advised that like once you do 1 coat, you buff it and then you do another. Maybe that's only for oil-based. I guess I don't actually know. But yeah, it's not a big deal. I did 3 coats. I would have just done 2, but I opened a fucking barrel of monkeys because while I was doing this, I was looking at my archway here, which has been on my to-do list for a while, and I started poking at it and I made a mess. So it wasn't my plan to work on that. And it definitely wasn't wise to do it when I had just painted this, because I had to like wipe it down and paint it 2 or 3 times. But I just got like ahead of myself and I was excited because yeah, I've felt like this archway needed some TLC for a while. So yeah, stay tuned. I'm gonna do that next week. I mean, the video's gonna come out next week. I already did it in case you can't like see that. But that's like movie magic, internet magic. So yeah, I that's kind of how projects go sometimes. Sometimes you're like, I'm gonna do this, it'll be super simple, and then you're like, what about this over here? And you get distracted, which is fine because it was something I've thought about for a while. I just never knew exactly how to fix it. So that'll be next week, so stay tuned. And that's a much more interesting home decor thing versus the black is obviously I just want it to be clean. I want it to be clean and I want to be able to wipe it off and it to be very smooth. So, I mean, be encouraged to make choices for your home that you actually like and care about and think are awesome. So do that, okay? Don't make choices because, I don't know, you think it's the safe choice or somebody told you that's what's in or some shit like that. And sometimes you just make a choice to like get something clean. Like the paint in our kitchen, I'm pretty sure is gloss or semi-gloss because our kitchen's old and I wanted to be able to like wipe off every single wall. like that's what I wanted. So other places in our house, like our bedroom or our living room, like you can just go with satin. That's not a big deal. But like flat or matte, it's just like thumbs down. Don't even bother with that shit. If you like this, like it and subscribe. You could check out my Patreon because that is very, very direct support to me, and I appreciate the heck out of all my current patrons. Just thank you so much. You guys are the best. And if you want to do that, it's this. I'll put it right here. And then check out my Etsy, because that's also a place where you could get a Beth the Builder thing. I'll probably end up putting up Beth the Builder stickers pretty soon. And yeah, so stay tuned for my archway. And so yeah, I hope you feel inspired to, you know, make fun design choices for your home and not just stick with like boring black or white or whatever. Like do something interesting. I've tried to, you know, make practical choices for our house, but also fun choices that actually feel like we live here and etc. So you guys are great. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.